Hello, alumni and friends of Ozark Christian College. My name is Drew Ashwell, and I serve here at the college as the alumni director. And just to give you a little bit of background on myself, I'm a 1989 graduate, and then I came back to teach here at Ozark in the fall of 1996. And I want to, on behalf of President Matt Proctor and all of the leadership team and faculty and staff here at Ozark Christian College, send a special greeting to all of our alumni serving our Lord Jesus all over the world. We are proud of you, and one of the reasons for this new video message is to connect with you and try to encourage you to press on in your ministries for our King Jesus. I want to first say thanks to Matt Dickey, who is our videographer, part of our tech crew here at the college. Matt was a student here at Ozark from 1983 to 1986, and so I'm very appreciative of his help in making these videos to greet you. We're going to, on a monthly basis, interview either a leader or a faculty member here at the college and just have them share from their heart some encouraging words to our alumni all over the world. And this first message, we're going to interview Dr. Mark Moore, who after 22 years is drawing a line under his service here at the college. He has received a call, and he has accepted that call to join the teaching team at Christ Church of the Valley in Peoria, Arizona, in the Phoenix area. And so it's my honor and privilege to be able to ask Mark a few questions. Brother Mark, I'd like for you to just think back 22 years ago and your opening days as a new professor at OCC. Can you remember perhaps some rookie mistakes that you'd like to share with your friends and alumni all over the world?
I was 8 years old when I came. Actually, I was 26 years old when I came, and I honestly don't, I have no idea what Eidelman was thinking and Lynn Gardner were thinking when they hired me, but anyway, they took a shot on a young pup, and it was a funny story. When Lynn called me in 1990, he asked me if I would come up and help develop the Learning Center. I don't know that I was even on the radar for a full-time professor. They wanted me to develop this center that would help struggling students, endangered students, and so he calls me and says, would you come up and talk to our trustees about a learning center? I just finished a master's degree in adult education. I had some experience in that. I thought he was talking about consulting. So I get off the phone with my wife and I said, this is great. The Ozark wants me to come up and consult with them, talk to them about a learning center. I need to get tickets. So I went and got the plane tickets, called Lynn back, and he said, well, are those tickets going to give you time enough to look for a house? To tell you how dumb I was, I had no idea he's offering me a job. I said, well, why would I need to look for a house? Am I like coming up more often than once? And he goes, yeah, we're looking to hire you full time. And of course, I'm just tickled. It wasn't even on my radar. So 26 years old when I was hired, 27 when I got here in July, and that makes me older than most of my students now. So yeah, actually, I'm starting to get children of my first students.
Wow.
Which is, yeah, that's delightful.
I know you've taught quite a few different classes and many, many times over 22 years. What have been some funny moments, some perhaps lighthearted moments in your classes that you can remember that you'd like to share with alumni that have had you or perhaps are being greeted by you for the first time? Perhaps they preceded you. What would you like to share with our alumni?
Several years ago, there was this guy, he was a practical joker, and I almost always got the better of him, but he was really clever. And one day I really embarrassed him in class and made him mad, so he went to Missouri Southern State University and went to the Joplin High School theater departments and told them that Ashton Kutcher was doing interviews for a spot on his show Punk'd. He gave them my home address. So I come home, there's this line of cars out there, and I said, no, I will get you back. I don't know when, I will get you back. That summer in his church, there was a junior high sleepover, and these little girls, junior high girl, he was a big guy, and junior high girls one had left her pajamas there. He put them on. That was pornographic in itself, and he posed like a pinup model, laying on the table. His youth minister emailed me that photo. I slipped it into a Life of Christ presentation, He's in the class. I didn't know, but I could not have orchestrated this. It has to be the Lord, because the slide before it's a picture of the Capernaum synagogue. And I'm describing this without looking at the picture. I've seen it 100 times. And I said, this is a synagogue from the 4th century built upon an earlier foundation. Well, the sign in the picture says 5th century. So this knucklehead raised his hand and says, kind of looks to me like that's more of a 4th century synagogue than 5th century. And I said, oh, that's right. I never turned around. I said, that's right. That's what the sign says in the picture, isn't it? Well, you might be interested in this next picture as well, if you're interested in archaeology. Hit the slide, and there he is in front of the whole class, strapped up in these junior high girls' PJs. It couldn't be more perfect. The other one was just last year. I'm in issues of interpretation. I'm making a joke that the iPhone is actually the 666. Because it's on your right hand, it's on your forehead, you can't buy or sell without it. So I borrowed this guy's iPhone. I have it up to my head and it buzzes. His girlfriend just texted him. So I read the text. It said she had been sick for a week and so hadn't been able to kiss him. So her text said, I can't wait to kiss you. I look at the class and I'm just like, wow. I mean, it's just, wow. And they're all saying, what is it? What is it? I said, well, that would be a breach of FERPA, which is federal guidelines. I can't tell you what it says. So I text her back. She thinks it's her boyfriend. I text her back. You can't believe what's happening right now. She found out later, of course, the whole class is dying, and her boyfriend throws her under the bus. He tells the whole class exactly what the text said. She is now, painted as this, hoochie coo that can't keep her lips off of him. But it was one of those moments where you can't orchestrate it.
Well, Mark, during a 20-plus year teaching ministry, you've obviously developed some very close relationships with some of our students. I'd like to ask you to just share what have been some of the most memorable, meaningful relationships that you've developed. And I know you've watched as your former students have gone on out into the ministry after graduating from Ozark. And I just want you to brag on a few of our alumni.
Every year for 20 years, I've taken 5 guys, and we meet weekly and in my home or in their homes, and we do discipleship. It's a 2 to 3 hour meeting. And out of that, every guy who's graduated has signed a wooden plaque. It's in my office right now. I've got 4 more guys waiting to sign it in the next couple weeks. Out of that, that's been my closest discipleship and mentoring relationships. Some of them are way more well-known than I will ever be. Delights me. A Kyle Eidelman and a John Weiss. Those two have just become leaders that I could only imagine being. I'm very proud of them. Most of the guys, though, are not written up in the Christian Standard. But they're faithful. I think of my own son serving down in Loganville, Georgia, at a church that's running 500-600 with Adam Turner. They did get written up in the standards. The fastest growing medium-sized church in the Restoration Movement this last year, or one of the fastest. I think about Mark Hostetler, who hasn't been in ministry for 10 years, but he started at Central Christian Church in Las Vegas, got into real estate, has just been a faithful servant and funded a lot of great causes. I think about C.J. McPhail, who was in the first group we ever did. He's been out in Oregon. We've lost touch. I haven't heard him in years, but I watched very carefully as they built a house for him on Extreme Home Makeover for his wife and his 2 sons with learning disabilities, and how he's ministered to that community. I think about students who have served overseas. Mike Ackerman and Nick Parsons started a little 501c3 that turned out to be global Mustard Seed Global Fellowship. And just the vision that some of these students have had has been amazing. And that's the reason I've stayed here for so long, is because reproduction is effective. And even if I'm never on the marquee of a big church or never write a book that anybody reads, my legacy will be in the shadows, watching younger men do better things than I ever dreamed I could do.
All right. Mark, I know you read extensively. You are a voracious reader. And I know that you have some authors that you particularly like, and I was wondering, would you be willing to share with our alumni 2 or 3 of your favorite writers, and perhaps a few of their works that you would really recommend that our alumni get their hands on and soak up?
People ask me that a lot because I think that I read like the most interesting, up-to-date writers. For me, if the book's not 100 years old, it's probably not worth reading. So frankly, the modern writers that I'm reading, N.T. Wright has had a deep impact on me. Richard Bauckham is one that's gotten very little press that I think has had a major impact on me. Of course, I'm speaking as an academic. The Mishnah, which is a book from 200 AD by the Jews, most of it is boring, but the little book in there called A Boat is the wisdom of the fathers. That's certainly worth the read. So those would be some titles that I would give you. I think I'm going to have to change a little bit as I moved into church work, because what is interesting on a college campus is not necessarily interesting in the pulpit. So I'm probably going to have to, bite the bullet and read people who are actually still alive.
Well, I know you read a lot of scholarly works, but perhaps you'd be willing to share with our alumni, what's the funnest book you've read in the last couple of years? The most enjoyable read that you can remember?
No, I mean, seriously, the books that I read are like really boring things, except they've got these nuggets hidden in them. So, no, I'm a terrible person to ask about reading, because okay. I'm reading for academics in the classroom, sure, not for what would really, be profitable in the pulpit or in the pew.
Okay.
So my apologies.
No worries.
I really am that boring.
Brother Mark, I know that you're aware that there are many of our graduates and former students who are out in the ministry field and are struggling. They are really discouraged. And I would like to ask for you to look directly into the camera and just share from your heart your words of encouragement to our alumni who are struggling in ministry.
I remember my first ministry in San Antonio, Texas. We were on the underbelly of the city, literally south side, gunshots all the time, and I thought almost nobody knew who I was or what I was doing. I don't mind serving a small church. I could easily go back and preach at a church of 75 or 100, and I would be okay with that. What was difficult about ministry for me is ministering in the shadows, feeling like I'm not making a big impact and nobody even notices what I'm doing. I can assure you, because I notice my own students, Ozark Christian College is aware of you. I mean, that's part of the reason for this video. We are aware of you and we honor you. One of my mantras lately is telling my students, I don't need you to be great. I just need you to be good. And if every father in America was good, I would be out of a job speaking itinerantly. We need people who will serve faithfully in the shadows. God does not need 120,000. He just needs 12. And with those 12, he can change the world. You know that. You know that. But you need to know right now, we are aware of your faithfulness, and we are proud of you. And just keep being faithful where you are. And your legacy will be told in some other shadow, some other place, and maybe it will reach the light. If it does, I'm sorry. Because it's only what's done in secret that our Father rewards in secret, and that really is the good stuff.
All right, thanks, brother. Mark, I've already shared with our viewers that you've made a decision to leave the college and move to Phoenix, Arizona, and join the teaching team at Christ Church of the Valley there. What led to your decision to leave the college and begin this new ministry? And I'd like to ask you to get personal and share with our alumni how you hope to perhaps continue your teaching ministry to the Ozark alumni. Do you have any idea of any adjunct capacities that you might hold in the future with Ozark?
I want to be really clear with this. I'm not running from Ozark. I'm running to the local church. I believe that Ozark Christian College is the single most effective ministry training institution in the country, bar none. We have stayed faithful to our focus of being a classic Bible college. We're not big, But as a college, we actually are. We have 700 students who are all planning on some ministry of some sort. 95% of our graduates wind up going either into ministry, graduate education for ministry, or public school teaching. That is a phenomenal statistic, and you should be proud as an Ozark alum because of that. I'm not leaving this place because of any problem with my job. In fact, I've been here long enough that it's probably too easy for me to do what I do, and it's a heck of a lot of fun. The reason I'm leaving is because I love the local church, and here I'm 49 years old. I'm a little bit past halfway in my career, unless someone actually lets me work till 70. We're crossing our fingers. I wanted to split my career half between the academy and half between the church. And if I can do that with dignity, I'll be very, very honored. Bottom line is, I promised Jesus when I was 20-something that I would baptize at Pentecost. I'm way behind. I mean, maybe 24 that I've personally baptized. The reason is I hang around with people who are the baptizers, not the baptizees. And I guess when this opportunity came for Christ Church of the Valley in Phoenix, Arizona, I saw their baptistry. It's an outdoor baptistry with palm trees at the base of a hill. At the top of the hill is a cross. In the middle of the hill is a replica of the empty tomb, and the base of it is this baptistry. And almost every week there are lines of people waiting to get into the baptistry. I want to be a part of that, frankly. And I guess if the truth is that I think the title of pastor is more honorable than the title of professor, and I just want to see how that wears for a while.